The Soviet Union itself is no more.
The United States military has begun strikes.
Light them all up.
Считаю, что для современного мира однополярная модель не только неприемлема, но и вообще невозможна.
Народные республики Донбасса обратились к России с просьбой о помощи. Мною принято решение о проведении специальной военной операции.
Is taking chips from dishwashers and refrigerators to fix their military hardware. Russia's industry is in tatters.
Putin is now isolated from the world more than he has ever been.
Hello and welcome back. I am back from Seattle, otherwise known as Heartbreak City right now. I did attend the awesome Egypt-Iran match at Lumen Field on Friday night. Totally robbed. I don't really want to talk about it too much. It was a great experience, but I'm upset about the whole World Cup debacle. As you guys can see, I'm alone. Well, not alone for long, but Chris is in the not a good area for service. We'll just put it that way. Probably not a good area to be sort of transmitting any signal at all, if you will. But I am joined today by, I guess he's like my second co-host, kind of. None other than Nick Cruz from RBN, one of our beloveds, our family, our brother. How are you? How was your weekend?
What's popping? I was trying to relax a bit. I hope Chris is okay, man.
He's fine.
I know you saw
He's fine.
Donald Trump, he declared war on communists. So.
I'm gonna get to we're going. Well, yeah. So Donald Trump has declared war on Chris Halali. We'll get to that later on in the show.
I was like, bro, Chris, keep your head low. They already after you, brother. They're already. I'm keeping a low profile. I'm like, bro, I know soon. Like, if I travel to the UK, bro, I'm cooked.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I could get into Germany or the UK.
I'm never. Nah, fam.
No, I don't know.
If I go to the UK, Australia, Germany, immediate arrest.
Maybe we could get it if we got the new Trump passport. I'm dying to get this.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I need
welcome, but be good.
I'm telling you, if you're American, you better hide that passport if you go overseas. Like, Americans already have like very bad PR. Like, a lot of Americans, they tell people they're Canadian when they overseas. I always remind people, like, I'm an African descendant of slaves.
Yeah, right. I'm a first generation immigrant, first and a half. I say 1.5 generation immigrant. Please do not come after me. If you can't be good, be careful. That's good advice. If you can't be good, be careful. If you can't be good, then be smart. That's what my mom used to always say. Yeah. But yeah, so we're gonna get to a bunch of stuff. First, I want to ask. This thing cracked me up. I want Nick's opinion on it.
The next round, Team USA will play Bosnia next Wednesday. And one thing about Bosnia, I could not point out where it is on a map. I don't know the first thing about Bosnia, and I don't want to know. That's because Team USA, we're back, we're better than ever. That's next Wednesday. Get prepared, Bosnia, because you don't want it. You don't want it like that. But you're going to get it. That's next Wednesday. For now, reporting live in Long Beach, Abigail Velez, ABC.
I don't know anything about anything because I don't want to know anything about anything. Okay, because we are the best country in the world, and I don't need to know anything about anything, even though I'm a news anchor. What the hell are we doing? What is? She had to apologize because her boss's boss is a Bosniak. So not only are you clueless about the world, you're clueless about who you even work for.
The amount of goy slob that is fed to the American people, like, this is the intellectual brain rot that they want the American working class to have. And you guys, I know you guys know people in your real life just like this. The people that have never progressed past high school at all. Sarah cracking me up.
What's like? I don't want to know. You're an anchor on television. What are we doing?
That's it. Loud and dumb.
Always so loud, always so dumb. It's like, I want all of the attention, but you're dumb. So maybe skip out on some of the attention and give it to some of the rest of us. All right. Enough kidding around. I guess we'll get into the meat and potatoes of this thing. I missed a lot. So Nick, feel free to cut me off, or even viewers, feel free if I missed something. Because again, I was gone on all day Friday, all day Saturday. But so what I'm gathering is that the big escalation, obviously Thursday on June 25th, per U.S. officials, Iran fired drones at a commercial ship in the Strait of Hormuz, a Singapore-flagged container ship named Ever Lovely. On Friday, the United States responded on Iranian targets. They said missile and drone storages and sites and coastal radar sites. On Saturday, yesterday, another ship was hit, the Panama-flagged tanker Kiku, struck by a one-way Iranian attack drone in the Strait. No injuries reported. Additional drone strikes blamed on Iran hit another ship and targets in Bahrain and mentions of Kuwait. On Saturday night into Sunday, the United States launched a second night of strikes in Iran in direct response to the Saturday tanker attack. Trump called it a foolish violation of the ceasefire MOU. He has warned that if it continues, the U.S. may no longer be able to be reasonable, as if we were ever reasonable to begin with, and could militarily complete the job. The MOU was supposed to reopen the strait to normal traffic. Instead, we're seeing repeated drone attacks on shipping and U.S. retaliation. Obviously, the fronts are connected with Lebanon, and we'll talk about Lebanon in a second. Also, amid the Hormuz escalation and the strain on the MOU is reports of one of the largest U.S. airlift surges into the Middle East or West Asia right now, described in some real-time coverages as one of the largest in recent history. The MOU was supposed to do a drawdown. Instead, we're seeing a increase. Definitely not a drawdown. What have you seen over the weekend? What have you noticed? What's going on with the MOU? And I don't even think Iran claimed responsibility for these attacks in the Strait on these tankers.
Yeah. Like, I already knew that any potential peace deal was cooked from the very beginning. That's why I covered this very sparsely on my channel, because I'm like, Donald Trump and the United States Zionist regime, they're not going to do anything to rein in Israel and their slaughter in Lebanon. They made it clear, and Iran had drawn that as a red line. Also, the United States has a history of reneging on deals. The United States is not a country that you can engage in negotiations. They have shown this over and over and over again. And this is why, like, we're in a very dark time right now. That's why when I watch this World Cup stuff, I can barely stomach it now. Also, yeah, because
I'm even like disappointed I even went. I'm like, I was there while things were happening, and I was like,
hope you have fun, but I can't stomach it. And I told my audience, I was a big fan of international football and World Cup before. I used to watch Champions League all the time, my friends. Now I can't do it now, especially since they banned Russia from competing. And I'm like, dude, this whole thing is a Jewish supremacist fraud. Like FIFA and the whole organization, and especially how they treated the Iran national team, I couldn't get on board with that. And I'm watching the world and the multipolar world struggle to be born, and we're watching the Epstein ruling class willing to do everything they can to stop this new world from being born and their loss of their influence. Because now you have Europe that is openly escalating conflict with Russia and Moscow, and now people in Russia, a lot of people who are critical of Putin, they're advocating for him to escalate the conflict, because it's clear that the NATO regime will never stop. The same way it's clear that the Israeli regime will never stop. That's why it's clear to many people in Iran that the United States regime will never stop. So we're on the cups of massive, like World War III. Like we have the Ukraine as a front line, as a front in this war. And then we have the United States escalating with Iran trying to dominate oil shipping lanes throughout the world. They had kidnapping leaders in South America. Nicolas Maduro's in a 23-hour solitary confinement torture cell. So you guys can see why I'm a bit of a killjoy right now. I'm sorry, because it's very hard to focus on Goyslop, especially rigged Goyslop. Like after we seen what they did to the Iranian team, them have to travel back to the United States and Mexico. So the circus, it's very hard to keep me distracted with the circus. Like I even feel bad because I was watching the UFC fights, the White House fights, and the fights was actually pretty good, but it was Goyslop. It's just this massive distraction from this violent escalation by the Western ruling class. You can call it like the new Cold War if you want, but they're panicked after the rise of the multipolar world, the rise of China, the rise of Russia, and the potential of Iran rising as a regional superpower. They will never choose peace. And I'm watching all this stuff go down, and I'm seeing people just distracted watching the World Cup celebrate. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I guess you guys might well enjoy your time now, because things are getting really dark.
They are. And I also want to stress that the World Cup stuff, yes, a lot of the stuff is great down there, but most of these influencers that you see that are getting like boosted or getting like huge posts, I don't want to name any names, but you guys probably know what I'm talking about. A lot of them are making arrangements with the cities and the restaurants, and they're being paid. So keep that in mind. Like this was an attempt to do a PR campaign for the United States. So don't kind of get caught up in the all circus, no bread thing. Like, don't get caught up in the circus part of it, is what I kind of like, always sort of have it in the back of your mind. I will say this, I didn't eat anything at the game, so maybe I did that in solidarity. But yeah, and it was a very heartbreaking game. And I don't know about football, but even the aftermath with the games that followed, it seems like the thing was sort of, not, I don't want to say rigged, but maybe even rigged against Iran. And funnily enough, somebody commented today and said, wait a minute, so Iran is allowed to go to the World Cup and not Russia? And I get what they were trying to say, but my mind went the other way. I was like, maybe they let Iran go so they could humiliate them, and now they won't be allowed back again.
Yeah, I can see that. Just to harass them,
or it could have been too late, because I think that the bans like that have to go through FIFA. They probably would have tried, or it's probably something nefarious as to why Iran is allowed in.
They do stuff like that all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, they do stuff like that all the time.
Well, again, with the troop buildup, I think that they said, let me see. C-17s, over 24 of them have been flooding into regional bases, delivering heavy equipment, supplies, and reinforcements across the Middle East. But I just want to, if there are any, I'm a veteran myself, and if there are any current people, any current servicemen or women watching, I just want to show you what you're going to have to invade. I had an issue walking to and from the stadium. Like, imagine trying to invade Iran. You're like in like salt flats and like looks like freaking Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right.
What's poppin', Mark? How you doing, my friend? But
hello, Mark. But yeah, let's hop over to Leb. Oh, go ahead, Mick.
Oh, sorry, Sarah. I just want to chime in because everyone talking about this massive military building. It's just like the largest buildup in modern military history. Like the amount they've been nonstop for like 72 hours. I was reading about. And this is what I was warning people on my channel. This is why I was explaining how a lot of this negotiations, especially the way the media was covering it, was pure political theater. The United States, well, I should say the Trump administration is now pushing for a $1.5 trillion military budget not to use it. Fam. You guys think as well as many people in Congress, and there's been a very ongoing psyop in the Western media. Well, I wouldn't call it psyop, but it's obvious media manipulation where they say, do you know how the United States is running low on their stockpiles? Said the person who is paid to be a weapon salesman. Like these people on MSNBC, CNN, and BBC. These people are paid by the arms industry. So isn't it convenient when they come and do these segments and they're like, hey guys, we just got to let you know that we low on arms and munitions. I think we probably have to invest a little bit more in our military industrial complex. You have BBC and DW, they were in a segment like, man, Donald Trump is putting pressure on Europe to increase the amount they spend on the military. And now you got Germany, they're slashing pensions. They're losing their health care because they're trying to hit these military goals. They're putting this out there because they plan on using this. You guys realize they are preparing to plunge us into global war. And what are they doing domestically to prepare for this, Sarah? They're boosting AI companies like Palantir. Mm-hmm. They're boosting and creating a surveillance state. And they tricking a lot of dumb conservative boomers because what do they say, Sarah? They say, oh, well, don't you know we got to ban teenagers from social media? That what Keir Starmer said, to sell their implementation of digital ID. They're increasing state control in preparation for the mass destabilization we're about to see in the next few years. And no one's really digesting what is going on right now because there's a lot of tranquilizing drugs being spread out there right now. The World Cup is just being another example of goy slop that's meant to distract you. The new season of Euphoria that was trending every fucking week somehow. No one can tell me that's organic. This slop shit they just thrown in your face. Even slop a lot of people don't even recognize. For example, what is a pressure release valve they can engage in right now, Sarah? Right as they about to engage in mass global
Islamophobia or racism.
Right. You're absolutely right. I actually wasn't going to go that route, but you're absolutely right. By the way, that's why Elon is posting a lot of racial antagonism on X. Like he posting videos of black, brown crime and like, this is concerning. What do you guys think he's trying to distract poor white people and the working class from? What do you guys? There's all these psyops going on. So Sarah, you're absolutely right. I wasn't going to go down there, but you nailed it there. That's a big part of their psyop. That's why Nick Fuentes is boosted by the algorithm. These things are not by accident.
I agree. I agree.
Another, what I was about to mention though, what is another very important pressure release valve as we have the West preparing for destabilizing potentially nuclear war against Russia, for example, escalating its war with Iran, threatening China. They let you win a few elections. Mm-hmm. They give you a few.
Really good point. Right? We have a socialist takeover of New York State. We're gonna get to that later, but yeah, I'm really
NATO
excited to
socialist,
talk about this.
NATO socialist takeover. We were sending a message that you can win elections. All you gotta do is condemn Hamas. Just do it, Sarah. Don't you want to condemn Hamas?
APAC money, but you don't tell your constituents about J Street or any of the other hidden Jewish money that you take. And you brought up the euphoria thing. I also want to jump on that really quickly. We did a little segment about euphoria a couple weeks back, but recently someone asked me about the boosting of OnlyFans models, specifically Sophie Rain, who's being boosted by like rumors about Drake or whatever. Guys, remember when we did the euphoria segment, we talked about how these things are used to launder money to APAC and other Jewish lobbies.
Yes.
Why you see that if you see Sophie Rain or other OnlyFans people being boosted, it's because they need money. They need money. It's good sign. Block Sophie Rain, block anybody who's pushing her. Get this slop off of your feed. It is not just degeneracy, guys. There is so much more nefarious shit going on behind it. Get this stuff out of your feed. But yeah, so it's a good sign, but it's also a bad sign. You just people have to know how to recognize what they're showing us. And you brought up the elections, such a good point. And we're going to talk about that more in depth in segment 3 or 4 of the show. But first I want to hop over to Lebanon, talk about this ridiculous MOU that is, if you guys actually read the full text, it's quite terrifying. But our producer put together some infographics. So let's see. What Beirut actually signed, the full 14-point framework between the U.S., Israel, and Lebanon. The document, no government released in public, broken down clause by clause. So the core trade, disarmament comes first. Withdrawal is the reward, not the starting point. Israel alone decides when the reward gets paid out. 1. Lebanon disarms. Beirut commits to complete and verified disarmament for every non-state armed group on its soil. 2. Pilot zones, one north and one south of the Litani. Once disarmament there is confirmed, the LAF will take full and effective control, and only then can civilians return. Just so you guys know here, those 2 yellow pieces are the pilot zones. This is something that's never been, this is bizarre, very bizarre. IDF redeploys out of Lebanon, out of Lebanese territory. It's a process, and there's not a date governed by anybody that determines this. I think I'm skipping ahead. Article 6, Lebanon holds exclusive sovereign authority to make war and peace. I'm not any state or non-state actor claiming military security role on Lebanon's behalf without explicit authorization is declared illegal. Again, that's for Hezbollah. Article 9, U.S. aid comes with strings attached, as all U.S. aid does. Article 11, choking the money supply, obviously getting rid of anything that supports Hezbollah. 7, U.S.-backed coordination group. Article 10, reconstruction determined by the United States. And Article 13, something the producer missed, and I'm sure that most people are missing. If you guys actually read the text, in Article 13, it says, no, you will not seek legal action against us in the future or for past crimes. That's the most important part of the the agreement between Lebanon and Israel, in my opinion, because it gives Israel full immunity and carte blanche to do whatever they want without legal processes following. This looks to me like I don't want to say New World Order because that's tinfoil hat stuff, but this is them enacting their own legal framework that is completely outside of the UN, completely outside of UN, what would be a normal agreement, even though we don't love the UN. It would be a normal, but this is Israel basically reestablishing or establishing their own form of international law. You will not go against us legally for anything that we do.
The name of the Lebanese president, now, I don't know if I'm getting this right now, Roof Salam, I don't know if I'm getting that right, but he was faced with massive protests. They were surrounding his house. The president of Lebanon called him a Zionist traitor. Like, do you think that Israel is purposely trying to provoke a civil war? They want nothing more than their neighbors to be weakened by never-ending internal conflict that they wedge and drive themselves, because there's always these sellout proletariat, sellout bourgeois in these societies who sell out their people to Zionism in order to gain power and a foothold. And now this is the Lebanese government. This is these Zionists in Lebanon being fully and utterly exposed. There was a Professor Miranda. He was talking to George Galloway. He was explaining how he was happy, not in a like geopolitical sense to see this happen, but he's happy to see that this divide in Lebanon is finally being exposed, because there was a lot of people in the professional managerial class who they would still always kind of side with the Lebanese establishment, and they will always distance themselves from Hezbollah. I'm not talking about like anyone in our circle, Sarah. I'm talking about like more like the Dr. Cornel West, academic type. They will usually demonize Hezbollah and give more legitimacy to the sellouts in Lebanon, and that's how they able to maintain relationships with CNN, get platform on court. Now, when you have this betrayal by the Lebanese government, when you see their president being exposed bare naked as a Zionist traitor who sold out his people to the genocidal regime, when their political opposition, Hezbollah, they're fighting, they're dying, and they're taking the dog tags from these IDF soldiers. Have you guys seen the mental health crisis in Israel right now? Have you guys seen the military parents who are upset with Netanyahu because their baby boy in the tank got blown up? So Hezbollah is gaining massive political capital because of the resistant victories they are able to accomplish. Meanwhile, what is the opposition doing? The Lebanese government completely selling out their people. So the more professional managerial Zionist light advocates of Palestine who always would defend the Lebanese government been completely delegitimized, and they are forced to reconcile just the same way they've been forced to reconcile in Syria. How they consistently get these things wrong. Another example, how they got reconciled with their faction being useful idiots and surrendering to the Zionist genocidal regime. And now to your other point, Sarah, I'll pass it back to you regarding this Israeli Jewish conquest that they are on, and how successful in a lot of ways they have been in terms of like mass slaughter of their enemies. Like they haven't accomplished a lot of their geopolitical objectives, but they managed to murder a lot of Iranian leaders. They assassinated a lot of people in Hezbollah. They're able to gain a foothold and offensive in Syria and Lebanon, while at the same time engaging in mass disinformation campaigns in order to destabilize South America. This is Honduras guy. I know you guys covered this as well. Javier or Milei, all these right wing in Colombia, they fallen as well. I don't know the name of the Colombian president, but he just said one of the first things they're going to do is create an embassy in Jerusalem. So you're seeing region after region fall, because it seems like to me, many people in the global community, many of the global proletariat, underestimate exactly what we're up against. These are the kind of people who will say that, oh man, Nick, you can't say that the West is Zog controlled. Don't you know that's an anti-Semitic dog whistle? Sarah, I don't know if you heard that, but these are the things like media, like, once again, the professional managerial left will say. This is why they don't like me. Nick always said there's a Zog, there's a conspiracy for Jewish domination and control. And this is what, I see someone mention Gustavo Petro. He got a lot of trouble by the establishment left for not only calling out the Israeli regime, but remember when he tweeted out Heil Hitler?
And nobody understood what he was even saying. He was making fun of right wingers and being like, oh, if you want me to be ideological, Heil Hitler. Like, exactly. It was like, you want me to do this now? Like, people don't understand what's even going on at all.
Yeah, and I know I'm kind of ranting here, but I just want to lay out what the global community is facing. A lot of people have been caught off guard by, I don't know if it was because of denial about what Israel actually planned to accomplish. And I'm talking about the people in the Free Syria movement, these Christian Zionists who litter South America and Africa. Like, I see these Nigerian Christian Zionists. My friend David Dayan writes about them all the time. It sickens me. We're seeing Zionists and Jewish supremacy bring about a new dark age in humanity where people are dumbed down. They are obsessed with watching Netflix, jerking off to porn online, and while the ruling class is destabilizing entire regions, and they don't give a fuck because, hey, we're gonna go home and play on my Xbox 360 or whatever. That I'm seeing this shift in humanity, and I feel like the only way we can counter this, and any way humanity can have any future, is through not only revolutionary change, but a more revolutionary culture and class conscious understanding between people in the West, because in South America, it's always been between the Javier Milei ruling class versus the poor peasants that they want to oppress. They make international coalitions. They call it NATO. They call it Zionism in order to suppress peace movements, in order to destroy socialist movements and worker movements. And as this is happening, people are just taking the tranquilizing drug, cheering on elections. We want local city council. as the Epstein class is killing the many people in the global majority. They're bombing Somalia. They got sanctions regime that is sanctioning 1/3 of the world population, and we just keep seeing escalation after escalation after escalation. So I'm sorry if I sound a little bit unhinged, but there's been a lot going on, and I feel like there's not a sense of urgency compared to the evil that we're facing right now. I see people like cover, I'm gonna cover these elections. Hey, let's donate some money to this politics. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what are we doing?
Elections. I'm like that coach. Like, practice.
Yeah, practice.
Playoffs. What are you talking about? Playoffs, elections.
That's a perfect reference.
And they've been warning us. I mean, here's Israel back in March.
זה נראה שאנחנו מובילים את מדינת לבנון לעבר מלחמת אזרחים, אולי זה לא רע לנו. שהממשלה הלבנונית תילחם בחיזבאללה.
זו השאיפה מההתחלה, לא בטוח כרגע שבמצבה הנוכחי יש לה את הכוח, אז היום עוד שני איתותים נקרא להם, עוד פעם תקיפה של תשתיות קשרים מעל הליטני.
So, and if you guys remember Tom Barak, whom I hate, another one of my arch nemesis, he also said, we're not giving the Lebanese army weapons to fight Israel. We're giving them weapons to fight the other Lebanese. He said it out loud. We covered that too. That was months ago. They've been telling us, but nobody wants to listen, right? Because in America, they have this sort of thing where it's like politicians lie. They just say things. So now when they say things, nobody effing listens, or they just say, oh, he's just acting like a tough guy. He's just being tough, right? Everybody cries over Margbar America, but nobody cried when Trump said, I'm going to end your whole civilization. You won't have anything to go home to.
Yeah, they'll call us conspiracy theorists when I said Israeli politicians, including the Mossad themselves, admitted that they armed these Iranian protesters. And then whenever you say, oh, well, do you know that the Mossad is responsible for the Iranian color revolution? Conspiracy theories. I'm like, bro, that's what the politicians said. They said it was directly involved. To your point, Sarah, how they often brag about shit. Like, I get censored, taken down. I get a lot of trouble. Despite, like, in my hotspot videos, bro, I 1 hour, like 3 hotspot videos will get put on YouTube. I'll stop posting a lot of them because my channel going to get banned. And I'm like, bro, if you look at my hotspot videos, Sarah, if you look at the articles I quote, because I always have articles I quote, and you can see it in the background, it's all mainstream media headlines.
I use theirs too. I only read like WAPO, New York Times, Wall Street Journal. That's what I read.
Yeah, not like I'm quoting the Substack of DDG in my hotspot.
No,
it's great. It's a great source.
You can't. Right? Yeah. It's better to just say, I'm covering my ass by, I'm going to quote New York Times. Like,
yeah, I will have some New York Times ass article with it because they be thinking they're talking to themselves because no one actually reads that shit other than their friends and family. So because they don't expect us to actually read it, they think they're talking to each other. They will just openly admit and say the quiet part out loud all the time. Like how Israel has the right to seize land in Lebanon. These are arguments that they make in New York Times. And I'll make videos like, hey man, you see what I just said right here? Hey, do you see what Keir Starmer said when Keir Starmer said that Israel has the right to engage in mass starvation and collective punishment? I did a hotspot video on that. How can you flag that Instagram? Instagram flags all my shit. How can you flag my video when it's Keir Starmer literally apologizing for genocide? I'm not all these sources are great. I love DDG and all these anti-imperialists. They were real journalists, but I purposely use corporate media. I still get they still accuse me of disinformation. The press is nonsense. They don't even hide their crimes. They'll show like segments from quote unquote liberal corporate media. I don't even do Fox News because that's like low hanging fruit. I will show people what they're saying on MS Now, and you have the DSA crowd, Jamal Bowman, AOC's, the progressives. They go on MS Now all the time, by the way, because they like to give them credibility that MS Now is a progressive platform. Meanwhile, I cut a clip on my X account. I posted it, which showed how they just saying that Israel should escalate war in Lebanon in order to tank the Iran peace deal. These are just things they're saying out loud. And then I posted a segment, and I'm like, hey, man, do you see how fucking crazy these people are? And then one of the neocons on MSNBC actually replied to me with like question mark. I'm like, bro, you see what you said? You're a Nazi advocating for mass death. Over 3,700 Lebanese people was murdered by Israel since February. Like not in a year. This is only less than 1 year. And these people on MSNBC just casually, I believe that Israel shouldn't allow Donald Trump to restrain them. Because that's their anti-Trump line. Israel shouldn't allow Donald Trump to tell them what to do. Don't he know they're a sovereign country? Jesus Christ, the resistance. I'm dead ass, Sarah. That's what they are saying on these networks. I'll be watching them, and people in my audience, they're like, Nick, why are you watching these people? These people are crazy. I'm like, do you guys see what they're saying? They are crazy. It's like watching the zoo.
And I'm like, I do every once in a while. I'll watch like an hour or two of Fox News, and to terrify myself. Yes, and people will say, "Why are you watching that slop?" I'm like, this is what not my parents, but this is what our parents are watching.
Yeah,
this is what our hairdresser is watching. This is what your son's teacher is watching. Like this is what regular people are watching.
Yeah.
How do we counter their thought processes without knowing what they're even thinking?
Exactly. I was covering a CBS poll. So whenever they do these polls, it's mostly like suburbanites and wine moms and boomers, but it's still very interesting to read them. Like there was a poll where even among the suburbanite wine moms, most of them went in peace with Iran. But when you dig into their psyche about how they view the Iran war and sovereignty as a whole, that's when you see them turn into little Hitlers. That's when you see the Klan. They turn to Klan. It's like a clan, but when they say, well, we can't trust Iran to have nuclear weapons because what if they blow up New York? They're like 70% of Americans are concerned of Iran destabilizing the region. I'm like, bro, that's your country. And the point I'm making, these Americans, they say crazy stuff. Not us, because I never get polled, but they will say crazy stuff in these polls, and people will wonder why. Like, bro, why do these suburbanites? Why do they got worms in their brain? Like, why do they have such a weird view, this evil view of the world, where America has the right to tell Iran to do what they can do with their money? Because on one part of the poll was like America's concerned that Donald Trump and the United States won't have enough say in how Iran would spend their own money. Like 70% of Americans disapproved of us giving Iran their money back that we stole. Why would you?
I don't even know why we have it. Like that's the problem. Like, do you know why we have that money? No, it's because we stole it. Because they bought planes and we never delivered them.
Bro, in the anti-Trump crowd, they're like, Donald Trump. They run in political ads saying it. Donald Trump is paying the Iranian regime. Like the hard R. Like they always say with the Iranian regime. Like, God damn. Like, I know they're not a racist slur, but it feels like it when they say it. Donald Trump is giving money to the Iranian regime. This is why this war was bad. Not the kids we murdered. And not
that's exactly what Chuck Schumer said afterwards. This is a failure because the strait's still open and we're giving them money. But I guess the Lebanese aren't that impressed either. And I also want to stress before I show this video, you may see Hezbollah flags. I'm not sure, but Hezbollah has actually ordered their people to stand down and not participate in street protests as much because they're afraid that it will draw attention and cause maybe Americans or Israelis to bring snipers in and pull like a Ukrainian type situation. But so a lot of the people that you see are either regular people, not militia affiliated, or they're from the Amal party, which is a more of a socialist. More of a sort of a. They're definitely not anti-Hezbollah, so they're more of a. I don't want to say progressive because it's the wrong word, but we'll figure it out. So they're more of a populist, and they have one more parliamentary seat than Hezbollah, and they're pro-Hezbollah. So they're kind of like an affiliate. But so like a lot of the people in the street. And here is our friend Ali. You guys have seen him on our show. He'll give us some background on these protests.
The sign of this agreement, the we've seen a reaction from Lebanese, from the people, and even officials, especially officials from Hezbollah and the supporters of the Lebanese resistance. And they saw this agreement as it's humiliating to Lebanon. We've seen comments from Hezbollah parliament members, from Amal movement, even the Shiite leaders, the religious leaders also disagreed on this announcement and this signature between both Lebanese government and the Israeli government in Washington, because it's giving the Israeli army more freedom of work in South Lebanon and more freedom of work in the Lebanese territories and these occupied lands, so they can withdraw as they see it in a free way or in a very graduate or slow way, not as the Iranian deal was going to do, as a faster withdrawal of the Israeli army from South Lebanon. This deal gave the Israeli army 2 pilot zones, and those zones, one of them is northern of the Litani River, and the other zone is weirdly outside of the yellow zone that the Israeli army mentioned that this is his security region and the place where his forces is working on the ground in South Lebanon. So it's very weird for the Lebanese part to accept this agreement and to let the Israeli army to start this pilot zone outside their the zones that they control, or the villages that they control in South Lebanon. So Lebanese people saw this as humiliating for them, as the government, as if it's selling them, as if it's selling their lands, their villages. We spoke to a number of people, but they didn't accept to get on camera because most of them are putting face masks because these movements could be illegal, and they were followed by the Lebanese army all the time, and they are moving around the capital Beirut and the southern suburbs.
So as you can see, there are some Iranian flags. Iran, everybody. The only people other than themselves who are defending the Palestinians and the Lebanese, tying the two fronts together. I do want to show you, there were signs of, obviously, if you guys go to the Middle East or West Asia, their signs are everywhere, just like this, honoring the martyrs, honoring coalitions, honoring solidarity. Well, following this is really interesting because here is Trump. I think this is either today or yesterday. So keep in mind, guys, this is the like sort of solidarity with Iran posters that were along the highway. This is the highway near Beirut.
Lebanon great again.
Yes.
Love you so much.
They're going to make Iran great again. That's interesting. Okay. We're going to make Lebanon. We're going to make Lebanon great again. So that's quite interesting. But also interesting is the following the agreement, the signs that went up. Those signs say Lebanon first. So now we have make Lebanon great again and Lebanon first. Do you like this? Mm-hmm. So not only have the Israeli /Zionist /Jews completely co-opted MAGA, which I don't care, I was never MAGA. But remember when they told us we can't say America first because it's a Nazi slogan from when what was the guy that the America First movement? I'm blanking. Pilot. Charles Lindbergh. Charles Lindbergh was involved, right? So it's anti-Semitic. But now it's not anymore because now we'll just do Lebanon first, Israel first, Syria first, right? And now that whole movement is completely washed. No more America first, no more MAGA, because now we have make Lebanon great again in the structure of Israel, and Lebanon first also in the structure of Israel. So there you go. If you're watching and you're MAGA or America first, you've just lost those movements to the Jews, just like we said you would.
Yeah, and you saw how Donald Trump said he wants to make Venezuela the 51st state as well.
But you better start by helping rescue all those fucking people. We'll talk about that more on Tuesday. Yeah. Because Venezuela is another situation, and the propaganda coming out of there that is like anti-Maduro is fake and gay. But we'll talk about that on Tuesday.
Yeah. And the point I was making is that, and this is what I was warning MAGA people about for years, how there's no bigger globalist than Donald Trump. That's why I always call out these idiot right wingers who are afraid to call out international capital. So they use a lot of bullshit terms like globalist. And I'm like, okay, if I'm going to use your definition of what you call a globalist, wouldn't that be Donald Trump? That's why I always thought a lot of these people like Dave Smith and all these libertarians who would talk about the globalists, Alex Jones, all the Trump supporters. We got to fight the globalist world order. Who's a bigger globalist than Donald Trump? And then second he got in charge in his second term, when he realized he don't have to win the re-election, he's seen the full globalist aspirations. Like, wasn't the whole idea was the globalist conspiracy theories was about unifying North America, creating like a North American union with Greenland at its core, with Greenland as well. This is literally what Donald Trump is trying to accomplish right in front of the quote unquote "Make America Great Again" crowd, which is apparently Mark Levin. Like exactly. That's America first now. Like you said, you're on point when you say they've been taken over by the Jews. That's
right. Like, we can't stop it. We'll just co-opt it, and use it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm glad you criticizing Trump now. That's good. What do you mean when you say that you're upset that Donald Trump is not accomplishing what he said he's going to do? This is exactly what they always planned. Jared Kushner was always the mastermind behind his foreign policy. That was shown in the first Trump administration. That when they moved the capital, the U.S. embassy recognition of Jerusalem. Something like that.
Yep, they moved it. Yeah, recognized
Jerusalem. There was a lot of signs. That's why I'm not saying you guys have to feel the same as me. Like, I'm all for redemption, but I have a hard time forgiving these people. You know what I mean?
I can't.
I have a hard time. Like, I have a very hard time. I'm like, bro, you guys know that you guys. The disaster that you guys wrought on humanity, there's a lot you got to make up for. It takes more than just saying I'm sorry, going on webcam, going on Piers Morgan and saying that I'm sorry that I brought about this genocidal monster who were helping Jewish supremacists like Miriam Alderson accomplish her dream. Like, this is the Miriam Alderson presidency, and this is exactly what we warned them about. I know there was a lot of dumb shit libs who had Trump derangement syndrome, who poisoned the well, and they made a lot of criticism of Trump dumb as fuck. And these are people I called out as well. But this is what the Marxists, this is what the revolutionary, this is what the radicals been saying about Trump and MAGA. You guys think he's an anti-establishment figure when he got a TV show called The Apprentice? You said Hollywood is ran by Jews, but then you got to trust the guy who's given a show by Hollywood who is ran by Jews based on what you guys say. You know what I mean? So these are inconsistencies that we've been calling out. So it takes a lot more than just you going on TV shows and apologizing. And then you're going to turn around and say nice things about J.D. Vance later, like Rucker Carlson. it takes way more than that. You know what I mean? Then, at least for me, I'm not saying that I know I'm a little bit of a hard ass. You guys can do whatever you want. But for me, I have a hard time trusting and forgiving these people after what they do.
I don't. I take every chance I get to remind everybody what Anna Kasparian was doing to us just 6 years ago. Yes. And I did it again today. I should have uploaded the video of her saying Hamas are a bunch of disgusting terrorists and how they killed babies on October 7th. People forget. It's really not that far back. Do you guys not remember when Tucker Carlson was ready to donate his entire life savings to the world going to war with Iraq? Doesn't anybody had to change a heart? Because he's fighting demons or something? I don't fucking know. What the fuck is going on?
The TYT rebrand has to be studied, fam. Because she unblocked me recently, but you guys know she blocked me originally because I was talking about how she gave a softball interview with Madeleine Albright.
She did.
And I was on Jimmy Dore's show. And you guys know that Anna had a beat with Jimmy Dore. So I was on Jimmy Dore's show. And I was like, yo, what is up with her interview with Madeleine Albright? And then that was when I got blocked immediately. And now she unblocked. Now she gave that apology for Aaron Mate. Because remember when she smeared Aaron Mate?
Yeah, why is she publicly apologizing to the gray zone, but not all the actual people she hurt? Just saying, why is she apologizing? You guys already know my feelings about it. I won't even. You know what?
I get Sarah started.
I don't know how you're going to do it. I've been very open about what happened with those people and me. I'm not going to do it again. If you guys want to know, come find me and I'll tell you all about it. But yeah, why is she publicly apologizing to them? And not only that, but why does Jake sit there like a bump on a log when she's going off on her rants? Why isn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all very contrived and just grotesque.
Yeah, she's whining down.
Nobody owes the gray zone an apology. I'm sorry. Nobody. And I'll stand by that. I'll die on that hill. You guys come fight me. Anyway,
she said what she said.
We'll try to get through we'll try to get through what happened yesterday in Iraq. I'm still trying to kind of detangle it myself. It was happening while I was driving home from the game, but we had a slew of arrests. So if you guys probably saw it, let me play the video first, and then I'll try to give you guys a little bit of background. We'll try to detangle this a bit, and then we'll hop over to America.
عادي صاروخ كم سيارة هاي أمير
So we had some arrests last night in the green zone. Iraq's green zone was hit overnight by a major security operation. Armored vehicles, gunfire reported. At least 7 politicians arrested, including 5 sitting MPs whose parliamentary immunity was lifted just for this arrest. The official story fed out last night was that an anti-corruption sweep tied to a deputy oil minister arrested last month after authorities seized a record $86 million in cash from him. I try to get a little bit of background on people who were arrested last night. Iraqi politics are very hard because there's not a lot of information online. But look at the timing. The raids landed the same day that Iranian Foreign Minister Araghchi landed in Baghdad, visiting the site where Soleimani and Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis were assassinated before heading to the foreign ministry. And a Baghdad-based diplomat told AFP plainly that this operation is, quote, part of Washington visit preparations. Prime Minister Ali al-Zaidi, installed in May with the blessing of the United States, travels to Washington this month and needs to show he's serious about dismantling Iran-aligned groups, which is exactly what the U.S. has been pressuring Baghdad to do since the hostilities ended. Several of those arrests are reportedly linked not just to corruption files, but specifically to Iran-backed political and armed factions, the same resistance factions that struck U.S. bases around Iraq when Washington and Israel attacked Iran earlier this year. It's essentially a U.S.-backed political cleanup that conveniently removes resistance-aligned figures right before the new PM needs to prove his loyalty in Washington. Also, I want you guys to make a note. I didn't upload it, but Marco Rubio, this past week, said in an interview, we can't have peace if there are militias in Iraq running around that are supported by Iran. So Iraq is also on the chopping block. It was a purge. Some people got excited and thought it was a coup. We've covered a little bit of Iraq elections because the United States did interfere with their most recent prime minister election, making sure that the Iranian sort of aligned very popular al-Maliki was not elected. Al-Maliki. So we have a sort of I don't want to call him a U.S. puppet, but a U.S. kind of stooge going in Iraq. Not a coup, but more of a U.S. backed purge. But speaking of purges,
so they're calling these people like Iranian
affiliates. They're saying that they're corruption. Some of them were, but you know, it wasn't like the kind of corruption where you're like, we're cracking down on corruption. It was like, it's the corruption everybody does because it's Iraq and all of their guys. Think about it. When Iraq sells oil, all of that money has to go to New York City. It doesn't come to Iraq.
Yeah.
So a situation like that is a hotbed for corruption. Who the hell wants to send their money to the United States for their own natural resources? So
there's the reason why I was asking, because I didn't do a lot of reading on the recent developments. I was want to make sure I understand what was because they will accuse Iran of having these proxies and buying off these members in parliament in Iraq, just the same way they accuse them propping up Hezbollah. And then, I know there's a lot of very close ties between these groups, but the United States and the West, even getting involved in dictating the sovereignty of whatever country want to align with Iran or not, that's a gross violation and an outward aggression, because you guys know that in Iraq, the parliament voted twice, once in the first Trump administration and then in the second Biden administration. The parliament, not like radicals, not these militias they're talking about. It was the Iraqi parliament that voted to expel United States troops that were stealing wheat, they were stealing oil, they were stealing a lot of natural resources from Iraq. So they're like, man, get the fuck out of our country. You want to know what the response of the Biden administration was when Iraq voted them out? Make us. What are you gonna do about it?
Literally.
So this was something that was actually passed by the government. So then you had Iraqi militias that was hostile to United States troops. So then the United States would turn around and say, hey, don't you know Iran is paying these Iraqi militias to attack United States soldiers? You mean the United States soldiers that are illegally occupying Iraq? This is the bullshit when they say, whenever you hear like Lindsey Graham and these neocons say that Iran's been at war with America for 40 years. I know you heard that line from these right wingers. We didn't start this war. Iran has been in war with us for 47 years. Don't you know they fund proxy groups who murdered Americans? Don't you know Iran is responsible for the mass murdering of Americans? That's because you guys are legally occupying the countries that are allied with Iran. And then you guys use their allyship with Iran and with the resistance and say, oh, well, we have to do something about these terrorist proxy groups of Iran. How do people not see that this is just blatant evil empire shit? So I get accused of being I side too much with Iran, too much with China, being too much campus. I think that's the term they use. I was like, what's term? They were like, Nick, you're a little bit too campus on these issues. I think that's a legitimate criticism in a lot of ways. But when you see the actions and the violations of sovereignty that the Epstein regime consistently inflicts on Iraq, Yemen, Syria, Lebanon, and how they try to constrain Iran as a state, just like all states, has a right to expand the influence of their sovereignty. Everyone has the right to have military alliances. Everyone has rights to have allies, and they have the right to spend their money on whatever the fuck they want, including weapons. But you guys see how the West say, well, Iran, we got to have these agreements on your missiles. We got to have nuclear constraints. How you enrich your uranium? What do you spend that on? That alone is a violation of sovereignty. And whenever I listen to these neoliberals who their biggest criticism of Donald Trump is how he's prosecuting the war in Iran or how they prosecuting the occupation of the Middle Eastern countries. It's never about stealing the sovereignty of a people in general. It's never about criticism of the negative influence of the United States empire on the governments, robbing them of their free will and choice. It's never that on principle. It's always, oh, how are you managing the war? Just that's like the John Kerry argument against George W. Bush Jr. Like that's why he lost. He wasn't upset about the Iraq War. He was criticizing how George W. Bush was managing it, and that's the opportunity we have. But sorry, I'm just kind of ranting.
No, they won't. I also, guys, two things. So because Nick just mentioned Syria, Israel is bombing Syria right now. They're attacking the Golan Heights, and Syrians are trying to barricade the roads and keep them from coming in. So that's also happening. I guess they're not getting.
Wasn't Jelani going after? Jelani was going after people who wanted to resist the Israeli aggression, and that was one of the things he did in order to win favor and curry.
And I don't think he can do that anymore. Because he has sort of expressed this because the people are not happy inside of Syria because he was elected as this sort of Sunni nationalist Ummah guy. And now it's like you're wearing perfume from Donald Trump and what's going on here. So a lot of it takes it to their own hands. There are a lot of interesting protests happening in Syria. Some of them are organic. Some of them are promoted by foreign influence. But people are not happy because just like Donald Trump, he didn't stick to any of his principles or anything that he said he was going to do. So just wanted to make a note of that. He did refuse to participate in the Hezbollah roundup. Twice he's refused, but this is because he's scared, not because he's a good person. We told you guys about that last week when we talked, or last time we talked about it with Larry Johnson. So things will probably start heating up in Syria, and Israel was bombing Lebanon earlier today, getting their asses handed to them. I believe a very higher up commander was killed in Lebanon today. So I'm sure that there will be some retaliation for that. Also in the chat, enough with this Israel funds Hamas. Okay. This is the story. I'm going to do this one time and one time only, and then we will never talk about it again. Israel literally facilitated the payments because every payment to Hamas or Gaza must go through Israel, right? So the large aid package that was funded by Qatar that had to go to Gaza went through Israel, and Israel pushed the story saying that they did it. So all you guys would fight about them funding Hamas instead of facilitating the transaction, right? So now Hamas is discredited because retarded Americans think that Jewish money went to Hamas. case in point in the chat.
Why do a lot of
really they just facilitated the payment? So stupid Americans would do this.
You guys notice a lot of like white nationalists on the right? They lie just like Jews do.
Yep. Yeah,
Because
they want Zionism for white people.
Exactly.
They want Israel for white people, but they don't even know. They still can't tell you what a white person is.
Is it Nick Fuentes? Isn't he like half
Anglo? I think they just mean the Anglo, so I'm not included, thankfully.
But that what Nick Fuentes just recently said, where he was like, "Yeah, he like we see. You see what the Jews do and how they go after the enemies. That's what we should be doing."
Yeah, see, I want Jewish supremacy for whites.
So then there's a lot of people on the right. I noticed he's saying there are a lot of people on the right. Like, hey, I thought you said that Christians got to be against what the violent Jews do on principle. But you guys see how he flipped just like this. There's a lot of what's the term I'm thinking of? There's a lot of cross action, for lack of a better term, between white nationalists and these Zionists. Because you know how like Jewish supremacists, they just lie all the time. In the same way with white supremacists, white nationalists, about when they just feel like they have to lie about Hamas. I have a guy who I'm inviting on. I was about to invite him on, but he was in Lebanon when shit was popping off, so I had to fucking reschedule. But Mujama Harakit, I want to give him a shout out. He has a Substack on this. He as someone who's been a scholar in the resistance, someone who lived in the Middle East, been in Gaza many times, and I'm scheduled to have him on my show here very soon. We're just trying to work with schedule. But he wrote a great Substack explaining what you just did, Sarah, debunking all the lies about Hamas, and one of them that I'm gonna invite him on my show to talk about is the whole thing about Israel funding Hamas. Damn, there's never been Hamas is one of the most effective fighting forces against Jewish supremacy, and they have taken bodies. You know how casualty averse Israel is? They take bodies and they shoot to kill.
Yes.
They're not fucking around. How can you say that Hamas is an agent of Israel when they're taking IDF bodies, fam, and they suffer greatly from it? You had Hamas leaders who suffered greatly because of the resistance to Israel. You had Sinwar. They did an autopsy of his body. You know, the legendary leader who will be remembered throughout history for generations. He died on the front line fighting with his people. And the autopsy shown that he didn't eat for 3 days, Sarah. You guys know that what they showed in the autopsy? Mm-hmm. That he was near the point of starvation. So what did that tell you? That means he was on the front lines with his people, the leader of Hamas, not whining and dining, not hiding in a bunker getting fat. These are the projections that they lay on Hamas leaders. He was on the front line starving just like his people were starving.
Yep.
And after seeing what Sinwar did and seeing the pain that Sinwar brought on the genocidal, ball-worshipping Epstein regime, for the idea that some white guy in Tennessee, these unserious fucks in the empire, would then smear them as Zionist agents is absurd. Absurd. Sorry, that's my right. It always makes me upset.
A new ideology called Sinwarism. So we're going to start with Nasrallism and Sinwarism.
It's already started.
Sinwaristas, Nasrallistas. Guys, we don't do left and right on here because neither anybody at DDG nor Nick does not fit on the American left or the American right.
Yeah, I hate on both.
Enough with the comments. If you're mad that we called out right wingers, because that means you're on the right. Doesn't mean we're on the left. We call out the left a lot. We're about to in a second. But let's hop over to America and eviscerate the right and the left equally. We've got
why you got the left and the right? Who do you support, Nick? Who do you support?
None of them. Fuck them. Throw them in the bin. Throw them in the bin.
Sorry, Sarah. Go ahead.
I do want to pull this up for you. I saw this morning before I hopped on the show. So as you could see, here's the Donald Trump commentary account. You guys know Donald Trump doesn't really participate much on X. So here's a poll. We're going to vote in it now with you guys. I already voted it on my personal, but I thought it was interesting, right? What is the number one threat to liberty in America? Iran. I'm surprised China didn't get a mention. They might have, they're good. They feel good about China today, I guess. So we have Iran, Russia, or other. Obviously we are going to answer other and we can comment below, but look at the results. Look at the results. It was 40,000 when I first saw 40,000 votes.
This is on a right wing account?
Yes.
That's crazy. Because
yes, so ready like
you will see this on my timeline, but the fact that this is on some commentary Donald Trump.
Yes, this is a gold account with 2.9 million followers, which is responsible for posting all of Donald Trump's Truth Social, and they post a lot of his correspondence, and then they do some commentary. And now look at the comments. Some people say America, Israel, 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 the Epstein class, Israel, dancing through the ball. Israel, it's all Israel. I was floored. Floored. So we'll keep an eye on that poll today, guys. Feel free to go vote on it yourself. Now we're talking about this interesting Red Scare. Maybe it's the Red-Brown Alliance. This is what we're talking about, the Red-Brown Alliance.
You guys realize that once Mark Levin and his crowd dies, it's over. Like, there's these young right-wing libertarian white dudes who I disagree with politics on everything. And they over here talking about, hey man, we got to do something about Israeli control of our government. I'm like, holy shit! As someone who's been covering this issue for years, fam, like you know them people who used to always focus on just the culture war stuff. They would, oh my God, black people are burning our cities down, that kind of stuff. Like that was their main focus. They went from focusing on that like 90% of the time. I'm looking at their page, Sarah. It's nothing but bashing Israel. They don't even give a fuck about the culture war like that anymore.
No.
It's interesting. It's very interesting, and I don't know exactly where this is going, Sarah. But I'm gonna ride the wave.
I love this because we're gonna explain it in a second. Nick's probably gonna explain it much better than me. But let's talk about the new Red Scare, which I am stoked for because I'm not involved. But anyway, here's Trump talking about the godless communists.
A country that's just the hottest. It just is so hot. And I'm working really hard to make it even better. We're going to get rid of some of the flaws. We're going to make it even better. But the biggest thing we have to do is we have to stop this horrible thread of cancer that's permeating our country called communism. We have to stop it because that's what it's about. That's what they want to do quietly. And we ask that God will continue to bless the United States of America, and God will bless the United States of America because of people like you.
The Democrats, godless communists, hardcore godless communists. They are not social democrats. They want to completely destroy the traditional way of American life. They will close your churches, kill your people, and that assassinations of those who oppose them is a very important element of their ideology. What the fuck do I sound like right now?
Don't you know that those communists want to hold the Epstein pedophile class responsible? They're a threat to America. They want to put the pedophiles in prison. They want to put the war crime. They are a threat to our life. He is telling the truth in a lot of ways. There were a lot of people texting me after this, Sarah. It was wild. They're like, man, don't you know Donald Trump declared war on communism? I'm like, fam, you know he's talking about Democrats, right?
That's what I know. They came to me and they were like, are you scared that everybody on here calls you a communist? And I was like, one, no, I'm not a communist because I don't believe in the dissolution of the state. And two, no, because I know that Americans think Democrats are communists. So I'm fine.
I'm like, I'm not I'm Donnie in them, bro.
Like, please go arrest AOC, the socialist.
Oh
no! Oh no! I'm going to be so sad if you arrest AOC. Don't arrest AOC.
Yeah, so you guys see where I'm going with it. There's two very important points on this story. One, it's hilarious how that right wingers use communism as a way to raise the money. So you got to realize this is fundraising because the midterm season is starting. You have DSA winning elections, which isn't new, by the way. So now they like this is the way they raise and fundraise. The second point that is important to make is that the imperial crackdown on communism never really stopped. So what happened during the Biden administration that no one among the DSA covered? And I'm talking about their media. I looked it up. Like if you looked up Hassan Piker, he never ever mentioned what the Biden administration did to Chairman Amali. You know, from the Uhuru Socialist Movement, who ran candidates, and they was upset because they was playing spoiler because they were running their own socialist candidates against the Democratic establishment, cost them victories to Republicans of Florida, for example. So they went after him. charged him. That happened under the Biden administration. So these are
another one. Let's look at this one. This is gonna get your goat too.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Trump. Let's see if we can if you guys can hear it.
I don't think I can't hear it. Can anyone else hear it?
He says, "I'll be the greatest communist in history." I would be. So are you a communist or are you, I don't even know what's going on anymore. He said communism is an easy sell because they want to give you everything free. But this is all just a response to what's going on in New York, yeah?
Well,
what happened in New York? Sorry about the sound, guys. A couple of socialist one or anti-Israel people one, is that, or anti-Zion? What happened in New York?
Apparently there was Brad Lander, who's a diehard Zionist who DSA helped win his election, despite the fact that he left DSA. Y'all know Brad Lander left DSA in 2023 after October 7th because he called them anti-Semitic. And now they're celebrating that this guy won. He called your ass anti-Semitic. He left DSA. But yes, it's all, they have no litmus test. There's no guidelines to what is worthy of expulsion. They still uphold AOC despite her supporting materially Israeli defense, the Iron Dome, for example, and they still refuse to expel her. Still refuse to expel Jamal Bowman, Cori Bush, despite supporting NATO. So there's a lot of people who still taking tranquilizing drugs, and it's very concerning to me because the only thing that the New York elections told me was that progressives can win if they support NATO, and we're going to have more aid funding being sent to Nazis in Ukraine. One thing I do find interesting, just so I don't be too much of a negative Nancy. I don't want to be too much of a negative Nancy. So this is one thing. This is a curveball we'll throw at you guys. I was looking at this candidate. I think her name Dara Liza. Am I saying that right? Dara Liza Javier. She's the Afro-Latina candidate who won. Apparently, she's the first progressive Democrat DSA candidate who won, who was critical of the Ukraine war. And I don't know if you guys remember, but Track Ukraine, there's essentially like the APAC for convincing progressive Democrats to support NATO. They made an attack ad against her. She said, well, we can't, not all progressives are really progressive. Don't you know that she opposed aid to Ukraine? Yeah, progressive voice. The NATO left. People are confused whenever I talk about the NATO left, but that's the progressive left in the United States. Every single progressive Democrat, every single one, including Cori Bush, including Ilhan Omar, even your favorite one, they all support the incoming World War III against Russia. And they defer their policy to NATO, to the Democratic establishment. Dara Liza is the only one who speaks out against that. She was saying, fuck Kamala Harris. Fuck it. There's the thing about her. She's not a fucking Democrat, bro. And I really hope that they expel her ass from the party. Because you know they're going to do that because they've been going after her. She has all these tweets that she deleted, which is a bad sign.
Wait. Why aren't the right-wingers who were just crying about us criticizing the right-wingers not crying about us criticizing the left? Oh, it's because you guys were right-wingers the whole fucking time, you fucking weirdo crybaby. Yeah. I'm so sick of these fucking people.
Yeah. I love when I say stuff that they can't really rebuke, but they just cry about it.
No, they want us to be left-wing, and then when we start to make fun of AOC or Mamdani, they're like, oh, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make sense.
Nah, fam, you guys understand. They all can get it. They all
Fuck
can get
the
it.
DSA.
They all
Fuck
can get
the
it.
DSA.
People like, Nick, aren't you happy? Aren't you happy about these progressives being elected in New York? Fam, Nicolas Maduro is sitting in solitary confinement.
Literally. And they haven't said shit. Where is the movement to free Nicolas Maduro? There's thousands of people under the rubble in Venezuela because the country that took them over doesn't give a shit.
Zoran Mamdani condemned Venezuela right during the eve of Donald Trump's aggression against the state. He accused Cuba and Venezuela of engaging in political oppression. and he said that Maduro's a tyrant, just like Bernie Sanders. So I don't accept morally. You guys understand this is a gigantic political difference between me and the left that I embrace. I believe to my core that we should not accept the devil's bargain. I refuse to throw my global South brothers and sisters under the bus for some fucking free busing. For welfare programs. That's all it takes for you guys to condemn Hamas, like every single candidate did. They all apologizing because they're like, "Oh, I take back that post when I said Palestinians have the right to defend themselves." Then they get elected, condemning the resistance, and we're supposed to view this as a victory. You guys just want to feel good. Like don't you guys know this is pro wrestling nonsense? You just want to feel good. Have you ever considered for 1 second that you as an American who live in the imperial core, who failed to stop the Western aggression in Venezuela, who failed to stop the genocide in Gaza, who failed to stop the genocide in Lebanon, who failed to stop our Russian brothers and sisters from being slaughtered by NATO, have you ever considered that we shouldn't be feeling good right now? But
no, we should celebrate minor victories in New York City.
Hey, Nick, you're ruining our vibe, man. Don't you know have you seen the Zionist meltdown? They're melting down, guys. Are they really? I see them taking a ton of fucking power. That's what I see. I see them implementing fascism all over the West. The UK has no free speech. They are arresting doctors. My friend Rame is literally being arrested and charged as a terrorist in the UK. Meanwhile, the mom Donnie left. Yeah, we get free buses. Rent free that de Blasio did.
Right.
That's all it took for you guys to sell out these people. I'm out. I want nothing to do with it. I want nothing to do with this goddamn trade-off that you guys think is morally acceptable. I think it's morally reprehensible. If we get welfare programs, that's fantastic, but I'm not doing it on the blood of our brothers and sisters in Palestine. I'm not going to condemn the Palestinian orphans who are fighting against the Israeli regime. Like every single one of them does. Every single one of them. So I'm sorry if that's my role, I guess. I'm not gonna be here to tell you guys you should feel good. We shouldn't feel good right now. Remember how angry people was, Sarah? Do you remember the anger that people had during the genocide that Biden started? You guys notice how all that anger is gone? All that anger is gone. Zoran. Hey, do you know Zoran is with the New York Knicks? Zoran Mondani take a picture with Taylor Swift.
Is Jewish, right? My Knicks is Jewish. My Knicks is Mondani. My Knicks is Jewish.
My favorite celebrity.
We got free buses. Oh shit, we got a parade. Oh shit, Mondani don't go to Jew Day. Oh shit, we won. Oh shit.
My favorite celebrity retweeted Zoran Mondani, guys.
Right wingers in shambles.
Hey. You guys see how they want to feel good? Yeah.
He jumped in a pool with his clothes on, guys. Could you imagine if Trump did that?
Dude, you guys see how easy they can shift revolutionary anger? I'm not allowing them to shift I'm still angry. You motherfuckers are happy as hell right now. Why are you so happy for? The fuck you happy for? And polls show that a lot of DDS say congratulations to them. A lot of these people won. Because a lot of
congratulations to them.
You guys know this, and this kind of an underhand attack that liberals use against them. You guys know a lot of suburbanites come out in support for them. They got a lot of the like college age, middle class
people. It's NIMBY people. They're not in my backyard. Yes, in your backyard.
Now, to be clear, I don't like the liberal attack when they pretend that these people are anti-black because of that. That's not the argument I'm making. But you guys see how these people are super engaged in this because life is just dandy for them. Life is just dandy for Hassan Piker. Life is just dandy for Emma Vigeland and these cheerleaders who just want you to feel good. I don't take the black pill. Don't take the nihilism pill where you got to feel like, well, I have no choice but to get invested in these irrelevant political theaters. We should be building something on our own. We should keep this revolutionary anger and use it to spur into revolutionary action. They're allowing the bourgeois, they're allowing the professional managerial class left to dole their revolutionary anger, and I will not have any part of it.
Ooh, I love this take. Zoran is the male AOC. I like him a little bit more than I even liked AOC at this stage, though I'm sure his Mamdani will manage to become AOC eventually. And Joe Kent is the male Tulsi Gabbard. Guys, we're going to do a space on Tulsi Gabbard because this cult shit going on in the White House is out of control. We knew about Tulsi's cult before she took this office. We knew about Tulsi's cult when she was running for Democrat president. So I mean, like, this isn't a supply. This is just MAGA. Tulsi's so based. She's so hot. We don't need to Google her or anything like that. Forget about where she comes from. She's so based. She says such cool things.
Tulsi is a complete psychopath, and she's like very interesting. You gotta know I met Tulsi, right?
Did you?
Like, when I was on the Bernie campaign in South Carolina.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And bro, I spoke to her. I looked her in the eyes because it was like this big political event. I did a blog about it at the time when I first started my YouTube video. You actually probably can still find that video. I don't think it's like from 7 years ago.
Tulsi exposed all the biolabs except the Israeli ones. That's funny. I didn't even think of that.
Bro, Tulsi was looking me straight in my eye and nodding at me with everything I was saying. And we had a great time. And bro, she sounded like a goddamn radical. Like when she talked, she's like, yeah, I think we need rain the police and we need like this is when she was pretending to be like a Bernie crat. Like, bro, I don't believe it's natural that you switch on all these positions. Like the conversation she had, and the reason why she's a psychopath is because she's such a great politician. Because she had me like she had like people believing in that. And when you have a conversation with her, I'm like, I was talking to her, I'm like, bro, she's nodding, agreeing with everything I'm saying. She seems like a pretty progressive radical. Then to see someone like switch like this on a dime, like according to the orders of her like cult leader guru, true psychopath shit, bro. And I know it's easy to say like, oh, you guys just fell for the Tulsi Hill. No, it's different when you meet her, bro. She told you, she was telling me shit that she did not fucking believe. I remember we were talking about healthcare. We were talking about how like a moral atrocity that we don't provide healthcare anymore. Mm-hmm. And she like when we were talking about, it, she really believed it. At least she gave the impression. You guys realize these people are really good actors and really good at bullshitting people, and that's what Tulsi did. And then she climbed through MAGA. Now it's been revealed that she had like a cult guru. It's either way, she is a very crazy person.
Exactly. She's like a programmable robot. And I think that's the actual story, is that people are focusing on, it is scandalous. She has this cult leader who kind of feeds her lines. One of the people that covered it showed proof that he showed an email that the guru guy said something, and then she repeated that exact same phrase on Fox News. So there is a lot of talking points being exchanged. But what I think, again, we'll talk about this more later on in the space. Trump also has this interesting little puppy that follows him around named Natalie Harp, who's also was raised in a sort of environment like Tulsi, this very programmed, weird environment. And I don't think that normal people can really wrap their minds around the fact that Tulsi was brought up in a cult to act this way and to infiltrate the United States government for these people. Literally. You can't wrap your mind. It could be. So a lot of people say Monarch, MK Ultra. I don't know enough about those programs to like go down that rabbit hole, but a lot of people do say that. And I'll continue to trash Tulsi forever. Tulsi is a lesbian who uses her beard husband to give reasons for her resignation, when really it was about to be released that she was in a fucking cult and they were controlling the intelligence department. What is wrong with this chat today? They're upset that we're being mean to Tulsi now.
They saw Tulsi's yoga videos. I tell you, simp culture is getting out of control.
I'm a yoga instructor. Am I as based as Tulsi? I need my rogue streak, my white, and that's not even real, by the way. The white streak in her hair, that's not real.
Sarah, you're killing me today. But yeah, that's that. As I was mentioning, simp culture is just getting out of control. That's what it is. You gotta see how
somebody said simped up chat.
Yeah. But AOC people do it. Have you seen the AOC? That's how the DSA people. DSA is full of these weird male virgins who are obsessed with thirsting over AOC. And you guys want to know what's even creepier? They started doing it to Zoran's wife. Like these people posting Zoran's wife, like, man, Zoran's wife is hot. You guys are fucking weird. Like simp culture has gotten getting very. I don't know because I'm an older millennial, bro. But simp culture is getting out of control, man.
Yeah, millennials don't really understand simp culture. We're like, wait, you just love them no matter what? Like that's just it.
Well,
Okay.
remember, we were trying to be players. Like that was
Yeah.
millennial. At least in my you want to be a player, man. You gotta keep hoes in check. You know what I mean? You can't be. We look down on simps. Nigga, we talking about?
Tosi, we are not worthy. Tosi, we are not worthy. Speaking of not worthy, how do you feel about this? We're almost done. Sorry for taking so much of your time, but how do you feel about this 250th anniversary? I can show you how Americans feel about it.
Yahweh, 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 Yahweh.
Is it Israeli flag?
Repeating Yahweh, just chanting Yahweh, Yahweh. We canceled Milli Vanilli for this, people.
Help me,
I've
Sarah.
never rather seen Vanilla Ice. You guys know, like this idea that we're not going to get into we don't worship Yahweh on this show. We've already done it many times in spaces. I don't want to do a theological thing, but for the love of God, for the love of Yahweh, what is going on in Washington, D.C.? And Dean Cain is like doing the PR for it, which is just amazing. Like Dean Cain is like posting pictures. Look at how beautiful it is.
Don't you know, Sarah, according to Mike Huckabee, if it wasn't for Israel, there wouldn't be any United States. We own the existence of the United States to the Jewish people. And according to Batya, one of my favorite Jewish Karens, if it wasn't for Jewish people, there would be no civil rights. Like if it wasn't for the Jews, I'll be back in the slaveries, and I'll be still buck dancing for master if it weren't for them. These are what people really believe. And the thing is, it's not like we're making fun of like random people. These people run our government. Mike Huckabee, isn't his daughter like a fucking governor? His like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, she's a governor of Arkansas, isn't she? I don't know if she's still in office. Our government is ran by these psychopaths, bro. When you celebrate, they're not really celebrating 250 years of the United States, bro. Like,
well, and though on a lighter note, we're celebrating another anniversary this week, which was on Thursday. Very important. The 150th anniversary of the Battle of Greasy Grass. I'm going to get a little woke on this stream. Just sorry, guys. Bear with me here because I really loved this. In 1868, the U.S. signed the Fort Laramie Treaty with the Lakota, giving them the Black Hills, their sacred land. Then the gold was discovered. The government tried to buy it back. The Lakota refused. So in January of 1876, the government issued an ultimatum: report to the reservation or face the army. The tribes did not report. By June 1876, 7,000 Native Americans, Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho, had gathered along the Little Bighorn River. About 2,000 were warriors. Sitting Bull had a vision that soldiers would fall into their camp like grasshoppers. Custer arrived with 700 men from the 7th Cavalry, afraid the camp would scatter. He attacked immediately on June 25th without waiting for reinforcements, split his force into 3 groups. Resulted in a disaster with Custer's battalion completely annihilated, 268 U.S. soldiers killed. Native American casualties were about 30. This was the only decisive Native American victory against the United States on American soil. For 150 years, this has been called Custer's Last Stand and framed as an American tragedy. But for the people that were already here, it's not. It's quite the opposite. Take a look at this really amazing video. like we come like completely full circle, right? I have chills, so excuse me. I'm like a little. We saw in the beginning with the protests in Lebanon with all of the various flags of factions in Iran. And now we see what really amounts to be the axis of resistance that existed in America with a series of flags coming down and celebrating their actual. See, people think it's woke. People are sad. America has never won a war. Sorry.
Yep.
Don't be sad. People have to celebrate the fact that they withstood and that they are still here despite the constant, relentless, genocidal suppression placed upon them by the United States for its entire existence. This isn't new. We aren't just now persecuting natives in their lands in Lebanon and Syria and Gaza and Palestine and Iran and Iraq. So cry. Of resistance, and then we came in and crushed it, and everybody wants to be proud of that, but you're appalled that we're doing it again. They're the same fucking thing.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm a big fan of woke Sarah. I like woke Sarah.
There's nothing woke about the indigenous Americans. I've been very close friends with a lot of Navajo. There's nothing like that's why I jokingly said I'm going to get a little woke because I knew people were going to. Native Americans and indigenous people are woke, but the Gazans who are also indigenous aren't. See how the slippery slope you're going to get down soon? The Palestinians will be a woke cause too.
Absolutely, Sarah.
I refuse. So that's what I'll be watching. While we're celebrating the 250th, I'll be watching axes of resistance celebrating or fighting against American oppression that has existed since the country was founded. Yeah, we've only won one war. It was Civil War. That's because we fought ourselves. So we all lost.
Yeah, and to get a little bit more woke here, because once again, I'm a big fan. To burst the bubble of a lot of the American exceptionalists, a lot of the cope that come from like the right-wing anti-Semite movement where they pretend that Israel corrupted America. Like you guys realize like, if it only wasn't for Israel, America would be a land of sunshine and rainbows. Everyone would get a pony. Then what do you guys think Israel took inspiration from? What do you guys think the Nazis took inspiration from?
They literally cite that inspiration and they use it against us. You guys know that, right? They say, what are you saying to us? You guys did the same thing.
Yes. They do it all the time.
The Americans, and then you did, well, not to mention slavery, did it to the indigenous Americans, you did it to the slaves, and they did it again to the Japanese. Who the hell are you to tell us what to do on our land? That's what the Israelis are saying. Then they have a total pedestal to stand on if they want to use that.
Yep. And Sarah, I'm not afraid to discuss the Jewish question, but there's a lot of cope. Because a lot of people got to realize that their ancestors was right there with them, engaging in the same genocidal actions that you condemn against the Palestinians. So I'm glad. I remember how I mentioned earlier about those young white libertarian bros who now are tweeting about Palestine. Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy and acknowledge the crimes of your ancestors, the mass slaughters that happened during the Black Codes, the mass lynchings that destabilized thousands of Black families, for example. Last thing I'm saying, we can wrap the stream up. And what you guys think happened to a family unit, especially during the early 1900s, when they lose their breadwinner? Imagine, like, you guys know there are thousands of Black men that was lynched throughout the decades. So people see the actions that Israelis engage in the West Bank, and now you guys see how I call it out. You guys see how Black radicals call it out, because we're like, hey, man, that looks familiar. That looks like something. The slaughter, the torture that they engaged in. Look it up. There's a reason why Ron DeSantis scrubbed this from the school books. They said this is woke school nonsense. You guys realize it wasn't even that long ago, bro. Your grandpa was at some of these lynchings. Like it wasn't that. My dad lived during them. He told us the horror. My dad was born in Alabama. I told the story all the time. Yeah, he used to have fight with these white gangs, bro. Wasn't that long ago. That was your papa. Your papa was there, bro. Anyway, just something that people need to recognize. I'm not trying to shame anyone. Don't get me wrong. I might take the wrong approach here. I'm not saying this to shame you. I'm trying to tell people we need to learn.
Yes.
From the mistakes of our ancestors.
It's not about shame. It's really not.
It's not.
It's about, and I, you know what, the Russians, and this is only because I don't know enough about other peoples to use them as an example, but the Russians are a great example of this. They aren't necessarily I don't want to say they're not living with pride about any era of their history. They accept them all. They learn from them. They take the strategic mistakes and the strategic victories, and then they move on. And it's a neutral part of history. Everything about our history becomes charged with some weird divide. We can't learn from it because we have to find about the true story. Instead of just saying this happened, if we acknowledge it and say we're not going to fucking let it happen again, that's better than trying to spin the story into saying this happened, but it wasn't even that bad. It wasn't that bad. What Israel's doing is much worse. It wasn't that bad.
Exactly, Sarah. It's our job, because if the ruling class had their way, they will keep humanity plunged into darkness, because that's when they benefit from. It's our responsibility. How can you look yourself in the mirror if you're not doing everything you can to advance humanity to the next stage? We had eras of barbarism. Despite all the flaws in humanity, we made a lot of progress in terms of our psyche, in terms of things that we accept. Our job, despite how bad things are, is continue to advance that, to learn from history. Don't allow yourself to be blind to that. And that's how the establishment maintains their power. Don't learn from their past. Don't study the crimes that we engaged in. Don't look into how we got all our wealth. Don't look into how the UK royal family got their crown. Like, don't do that. But we are here to advance humanity to the next stage, and we are here to show the previous generations that things can be done better. So thanks for inviting me on, Sarah. I always have fun.
You are a clip machine on this show. This show is just going to be clips, clips, clips. I got our Mamdani dance.
Yeah, that was funny.
Thank you so much for joining us, Nick. Tell everybody where and when they can join you.
Yeah. You guys can follow me on socials. That's my biggest platform on X, but also live stream on Nick Cruz. So make sure you follow. You can follow my channel. Just type in Nick NICR. It's just like on the screen here. NICKCRUSC. Follow my YouTube channel. I also cover geopolitics on Hotspot. That's what I've been focusing a lot on recently. More of my short form content, where I cover geopolitics from an anti-imperialist perspective. More digestible for the Zoomers. Make it short TikTok style videos. Big shout out to my homie Nico House.
I gotta have Nico on. I'm sorry.
He's fantastic.
I'm really spacing.
Yeah, he's one of the great intellectuals that's
amazing.
His credit that he deserves. Nico
he makes beautiful kids. He makes beautiful children. A lot of them.
So follow me on Hotspot. Follow me on Nick Cruz. You guys know I love DDG. I love the work that you guys do, and I'm always down to join your channel whenever you guys want to have me on. I had a lot of fun today.
Joining on the short notice and picking up all of Chris's slack and some of mine. So thank you so much, Nick. And I'll send everybody over to your stream, and I'm sure I'll be on there sometime in the near future. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Talk to you soon, Nick. Thank you. Guys, I'm sorry I was so mean to you in the chat, but sometimes it's tough love. Okay? I promise you, I do love you all. But as you know, I'm definitely a no-nonsense, no sugarcoat person. So sometimes I'm a little bit rough. So there's my semi-apology. But let me get to these super chats. Iran's original position was that U.S. bases would be removed from the region. I did see this earlier, Fartoid. So I did pull it up on the screen. Yet we're set to negotiate on terms that were immediately reversible through reignition of war, such as tolls and guarantees. Forgive me, I'm not totally caught up on the Iran situation, but I understand what you're trying to say is that those should have been the points that they really stuck on, instead of saying, like, you know, we're talking most about the strait closure and this sort of toll thing. So yeah, I get what you're saying. I understand. I understand. I have to read more into it and do my due diligence before I criticize or praise what's going on with the MOU, because forgive me, guys. Again, I was away for the whole weekend. But thank you, Fartoid, for pointing that out. And I will go do my due diligence from that angle. That's a really good observation, saying that, you know, the terms that were actually reversible are the ones that they sort of focused on. Interesting. Thank you, Abujan, for all of your love and support. Who's our lovely Uncle Haz is still in Iran. He says, all I can suggest to American troops is when you die, it is not going to liberty or justice, but for Israel and team genocide. Something to keep in mind while we're rooting against Iranians, Lebanese, Syrians, and obviously the Palestinians and Iraqis now too. Thank you, Chili Pepper, for always being here and all of your support on all of our accounts. Chili Pepper has been with us for so long. So thank you so much for always supporting us no matter what. Thank you for being a voice of sanity. I don't know if I'm a voice of sanity because I'm not sane, but if everybody else is crazier than me, we're really in a bad place. Mark, thank you for your support. And of course, Nick said hello to you and working your way. Again, if you guys are trying to read Das Kapital, which guys, I'm not a Marxist, so I'm not suggesting it to you from a go read this and accept it as your new ideology. But I try to read all ideological philosophy and political philosophy. And so if you are trying to get through Das Kapital, what I will suggest is that, because it is a slog and it's incredibly difficult, is there was a podcast that really helped me get through it called Marx Madness, just like March Madness, but Marx Madness. Those guys are great. They help you a lot. I'm not a very good reader of philosophy. So if you guys need some help along the way, that's a good place to start. But again, I'm not a Marxist. So read Das Kapital with an objective view if you can. I probably can't help it since it's so difficult to read. I agree. Rumble does suck, but so does YouTube. I'm not a YouTube or a Rumble person. I just like Rumble for the sole fact that they hand millions of dollars to people like Dan Bongino, which is insane. And, it's like who that platform was started by is people like Dan Bongino. It's kind of a mess. I don't know. I don't really love Rumble. And I think that the actual interface and the platform itself sucks. Like, it's just not good compared to YouTube, even though YouTube is, you guys are, in the sense, again, while I'm mentioning this, the censorship in the chat, I think, some people complain that we were silencing people. We never delete comments unless we warn you first. And we don't delete or ban people unless they're attacking us or the guests or the mods. We really don't. I don't care what you say in the chat. It's YouTube that's censoring you guys. I try to let the conversation fly as much as I can unless it gets like violent or threatening. So we're not the ones deleting your comments, but I guess I'll apologize on behalf of YouTube. Mickey, thank you. I'd much rather we keep destroying the middle class with unchecked. Yeah. Middle class is gone. I think my parents were middle class at one point. But middle class is non-existent anyway. I think we're just working class, and then people who don't support Israel, or people that don't work and support Israel for their living. I think that's basically what the United States is broken to: people who work and then people who don't work. And saw a video of another body of a young girl being retrieved from the rubble, and I think you're talking about Venezuela or Lebanon. I'm not sure what you're talking about, because little girls are being pulled out of the rubble in too many places. But I'm going to guess that you mean Lebanon. But yeah, we're funding all of it. So I think that having Nick on today was really good grounding, because, he poo-poos stuff like the World Cup and the 250th celebration and says, get your head out of your ass and start focusing on what your tax dollars are actually funding overseas, while this distraction circus is going on inside of the country. So yeah, I don't know what we're doing on our 250th anniversary, ruining the world, I guess. I love you too, Will. Thank you so much for your support. And Tony, nothing but love, respect, and admiration for Nick Cruz. He is saying things that need to be said, and it's very important. Oh, and thanks for the afterthought, Tony. But yes, guys, again, I apologize if I was mean to you in the chat, but sometimes meanness goes a long way. And I hope that you learned something from this stream. I know I did. Revolution is good luck on a revolution in the United States, but start going rogue. I love this advice. Be ungovernable, right? Which is what, again, guys, we're going to talk about these weird cult women that are inside of the Trump administration, probably today on a space if we get to it. And if not, I'll do it tomorrow. Tuesday, Chris will hopefully be back. We'll cover what's going on in Ukraine. There's SBU news stories going on. Obviously, we'll touch on try to get the story straight of what's going on in Venezuela. And maybe we'll even get someone on in Venezuela. We also have Slovenia, who is now pulling back their Palestinian recognition of the Palestinian state and moving their embassy to Jerusalem. So, this sort of Zionist takeover is making its way across. And I think that Nick even touched on today, Colombia, and we still have Bolivia that we need to talk about. Colombia, presidential elections with a Zionist candidate that nobody has even heard of won, a guy who used to enjoy tying fireworks to the tails of cats. That's who's in charge of Colombia right now, with the president suggesting there's Israeli influence on the back end of the voting machines. So we'll be researching that as well. But guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, what's left of it, and your Monday. And I will see you again on Tuesday, hopefully with Chris. And if not, I will find a viable substitute. But thank you for joining me. And thank you for all of your love and support. Share the stream and we'll get some clips out to you as soon as we can. Thanks, guys.